Yeah, scroll up. Yep, go ahead. Yeah, so what was this all about?
So this was basically like some of the variables I had to mess around with in order to get my semiotics like how I wanted them. So originally I had actually wanted to like physically make it like out of wood and metal, like use an actual screw or an actual bolt actually to make the hook. But then I realized like that would be a lot tougher than I thought, and it might not be able to like work as well. So that's why I decided to go with like this PLA plastic, which is like a bioplastic. Mostly because like it's I thought it would last a lot longer. It would look a lot like a lot cleaner, and I think it would just the purpose would be served like pretty much the same. Like it would still fit on different desks, but it would also be a lot smoother, like not rough around the edges and stuff. So that's why I chose to 3D print it first of all, and then I chose to use PLA, like to 3D print it. And I thought like that would be the best option for me, as like it looks nice too. So yeah, I basically achieved like what I wanted from using PLA, like making it appealing, making it clean, easy to use, and serve its purpose.
Yeah, because you have one of your cost variables there is that you're using that PLA plastic, right?
Yeah.
So what were like some of the other choices of things that you could make here?
So I had this.
Yeah, this was the PLA one, right?
Yeah, this was the PLA one, and then I also had this coffee-based filament that I could have used, and I had this a bit more flexible filament, but I chose not to use this one because I feel like when the bag was too heavy, it would probably just like bend and then like go off the desk.
Yeah.
And then the coffee, I don't know why, but I just felt that the PLA was a lot more appealing, like the blue.
Yep.
And I asked like some of my friends, and they said the same thing, so that's why I went with that as well.
You had another option here. This one was like carbon fiber, right? Which would have been super strong.
Yeah.
But there's some negative aspects to this one, right?
Yeah, it's also like more expensive.
Yep.
And it doesn't like biodegrade as well. So yeah, that's why like, PLA was the way to go.
So like on your next slide, right? You talk about kind of in the middle there. It says that PLA can be broken down by microorganisms over time once not in use and for the environmental, in the right kind of environmental conditions, right?
Yeah.
So is that like a consideration kind of that you had when you were choosing which material to make?
Well, yeah, because like there's still a chance that it can break down. Like it doesn't necessarily. It takes a long time, and like you said, like the environmental conditions, like the temperature and stuff has to be right in order for like it to biodegrade. But like I said, it's still possible. So it's better than using like a regular plastic or like something else like the carbon fiber maybe, or even I don't think the flexible filament would biodegrade either. So yeah, that was like yeah, it was a pretty significant factor in like choosing PLA.
So I also see a bunch of different like versions of your work that you have here, right? So these are almost like a bunch of like prototypes. So could you take a look, maybe take that one over there and just kind of show and tell me how it compares to these different prototypes that you have here?
So I think this was the original prototype, but the thing is like, as you can see, like I only have this piece left because it wasn't durable at all. So then I just I didn't change much to it, and then I just printed the whole thing again.
Yeah.
But the screw actually got stuck inside because it wasn't the right size. I think it was too big. So and then
I also noticed that your hook here, the depth of it, like it's not very wide here, right? Now I look at kind of like your finished product there.
Yeah.
And you compare it to that one, right? So what made you think like, oh man, I've got to like make this kind of rather significant design change from one to the other?
Well, like first of all, like I think this, like I can even bend this a bit with my hand.
Yes.
So like that was a little scary when I saw that. So then.
So you physically encountered it. You physically.
Yeah.
So there's a difference between seeing it kind of like, you know, in the computer.
Yeah.
And then physically making it with your hand. You physically have like a prototype, right? And then you can kind of interact with it, right?
Yeah, and then I actually like, although the screw was stuck in there, so I couldn't really put it on a desk. I just put my bag on and just held it from here, and I could see like there was like a slight bend.
Okay.
So that's when I decided, I was like, no, I have to change that whole bottom part and make it a lot thicker.
Yeah, because when you compare it to this one,
yeah,
you made it not only thicker, kind of like along the bottom, but the entire thing kind of ends up being like a lot more beefy and a lot kind of more significant, right? In the top as well, you kind of have some different designs compared. Like this one's kind of like, it has these curved edges here.
Yeah.
I've noticed, where these ones here are just flat.
Yeah, that's actually because like I chose to go with a much bigger screw because I later realized that all the pressure is basically on the screw when it's in the clamp.
Yeah.
So then like the thinner screw wouldn't have done much good. So I actually put the thicker screw, but then once I put the thicker screw, in order to like cover up the edges of this, because the way I did it was I put this inside here.
Yes.
So in order to like cover up these corners, I had to make this wider.
Okay.
So then it didn't look nice if it was just like sticking out. So then I just like made this along the top.
And was kind of like aesthetics or it looking nice one of the variables that you were kind of constantly keeping in mind when you were designing it, right?
that was a big.
Because one of your semiotics was like it has to be clean.
Yeah.
Right. It can't look chunky or anything like that, right? And I think when you look at it, it does kind of, the design does kind of evolve quite a bit, right? So it ends up looking kind of interesting. Now you put down a lot of words and kind of like statements on it, right? So for instance, you have it that physically says like recycle on it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Do you remember why I realized this a long time ago, but do you remember why we were trying to kind of make it so that people would know what to do with it in a sense, right? Do you remember how we had those lessons on... Remember that word started with I? I'm just curious. If you don't remember, it's okay.
Remind, what is it?
Remember inscriptions or not really? You may not.
Yeah. Okay. So, I don't know. I just felt that it was necessary because, like, if you don't have it there, I don't think people will know what to do with it. Like, even on like a cardboard box or like a plastic water bottle, there'll still be a recycling sign.
Yes.
No matter what, because like, if it's not there, like, there's a good chance that you'll just be like, oh, it's not recycling. Like, I can just get rid of it. So, and then that would just kind of defeat a big part of the purpose of it, right? Like being able to biodegrade.
Yeah. Excellent. Okay. You know what? One last thing. Can we go right back to your world sign kind of quickly? So that was the one on the top. There we go. So just, and I think I did this because I may have kind of done a little mistake here with the editing. So could you just restate really quickly like what some of the signs are that you wanted, and then what some of the harms were that you wanted to avoid, I guess, with your product? So were there some, like, what were the semiotics you were aiming for again?
Oh, so some of the semiotics I wanted was that it had to be like durable, clean, serve its purpose, and just like look aesthetically nice.
Yeah.
And I think like most of those it achieved, or if not all of them, through like many design phases and stuff.
Yeah.
Like I got most of those results in my product, which I'm pretty pleased about.
No, this is a bit of a weird question because I didn't know bag hooks existed prior to you making that. Did you see them previously?
No,
some people?
Never.
Because people have invented bag hooks. I didn't know they existed, and then I mentioned it to someone, and they said, "Oh yes, they do exist." Usually, it's people who have like larger bags or purses or something like that. So I think it's kind of interesting how you came up with an idea for an invention that's already been invented, but you're still kind of you still kind of invented it, right? Even though there is kind of prior art, you'd say.
Yeah, like you said, like they're mostly for purses and stuff. I think in restaurants. I actually didn't know about that. Like I was telling I think one of my teachers or one of my friends, and they told me, oh, so you mean like the ones for purses?
Yeah.
I said, oh, there's one for purses. I
Yeah,
didn't know
said
that.
the same thing.
Yeah. So, but no, that wasn't like my inspiration or anything. But I just created this to solve like my own problem of like my bag sitting on the ground and getting dirty.
Yeah.
And on top of that, I'm pretty sure the bag hooks for purses they're not like adjustable. Like
Yeah.
they're just there.
Yeah.
But this you could like take anywhere. Like you could take like to your office, or if, like teachers, like they move to different classrooms and stuff. So
Yeah.
you can just like take it anywhere and just use it.
Mm-hmm. Did you consider making that design kind of like available for other people to download or to get or anything, or?
No, I think you told me to, but I didn't.
It's okay. It's fine. It's an idea, right?
Yeah.
Could you state why you think is it kind of strange, you think, sometimes sharing things like that? Like, what do you think?
No, I don't think so. Like if I don't think it's strange. Like you should share stuff like that. Like the screw. Like I didn't make the screw, or I didn't make the nut. I tried to.
Yeah.
But it just doesn't work out. Like
Yeah.
you need to.
Super complicated making screws
yeah.
and nuts. That's insane.
You need to download these.
Yeah.
So I guess yeah, I'd be fine with like giving the file or something to other people.
All right, that's an idea. Cool. All right. Excellent. All right. So you know what? I'll turn her off there.